Hi, I'm Bob Vila. Welcome home again to our wonderful bungalow in Studio City, California. Today we're doing some of the messy work on the exterior of the house. We're grinding and scraping away some of the old paint buildup on the clapboards so that they can be properly refinished. And we're going to play hooky from all that work. I'm taking you to a very special place about a mile from here, the CBS Studio Center, which are the original Max Sennett studios where they made some of the early movies. We're going to tour the backlot and see how they do some of today's sitcoms. Stick around. It's good to have you home again.
Sears presents Bob Vila's Home Again.
Courtney, the condition of the exterior of the house is pretty rough, isn't it?
Very bad condition.
And it's not just paint buildup, but it's a combination of different types of paint, or?
Yeah, they're different. They laid latex over oil base, and it's just the bonding isn't the same.
And I don't think there's ever been a real good prep job done on this house.
No.
Now, this will be his first good prep job. What have you done around here to get the wood down to bare?
Actually, a few of the steps, we water blasted the house first. Then we took this disc grinder and ground down to the surface. Then we took the...
Yeah, the disc grinder or the rotary sander is really the best tool to use when you've got a lot of built-up paint or alligator layers of paint, because it is really rough, and it's really going to take care of getting that all off of there. And it's also a great idea to always have drop cloths so that you can collect all the particles that are falling off the house and dispose of them carefully. Because much of this paint could have lead in it, which can be a very, very hazardous thing to your health.
So one of the problems that we'd run into is that since these are old windows and we are preserving them, some of the muttons had become delaminated, in which we'd glued them and pin nailed them in place.
So you've had to repair the sash as well as getting it down to bare wood.
Right. As well as we put in new push pins, and in some places where the glass was broke, we had replaced it with some of the old glass that was here.
Okay. It's funny because, you know, you go to this much trouble often back east when your house is 150 or 200 years old. Here the house is just 70 years old, but it's nice that we're taking the same kind of conscientious approach to it. Now, was this all just sanded also with a rotary thing, or did you use a hand scraper?
No, we used both. We did the hand scraper to get the big chunks off, and then we took the orbital sander to get it finer. Some of the next steps are priming them and reglazing them, and that's what the guys are here.
Starting over on this side. Okay, so the areas that have gone down to bare wood, and it almost looks like redwood, some of this stuff.
It is redwood.
This is where you have to really spot prime, right?
Right. There'll be a priming in two processes. The first, to seal the grain. Second, we'll spackle it over. And third, to prime it again, and that should build us up thick enough that we've got consistency.
Yeah, and it's not all to bare wood, because this was the area that was compromised and was falling off, and then other areas you still have a good grip with the paint onto the wood, and you just leave that alone.
Right.
There's nothing like a house that's, you know, got some paint on it already. What kind of primer are we using?
We're using the weather beater oil primer.
Well, an oil-based primer. Yeah. Now you can prime the whole house in latex and then put oil over it. That's what is being done more and more these days.
Right.
But here with the spot priming, I think it's a good choice to go with the oil. What about the sash? Boy, priming them is a really important part of the operation too.
Yes, the primer needs to be in place prior to the glazing, in which we're using an oil-based weather beater glazing compound.
And this is Arturo over here in the corner who's been glazing the windows. I bet you this is your favorite job, right?
Yes, it is. The thing is that you just got to be very careful and really get the groove from the line.
Yeah.
And be nice and smooth and straight.
Exactly, because this is really the finish work, the maestro.
Yes, it is. Yes.
That's what they're saying. What kind of a knife are you using?
I'm using a glazing knife. It's special for it.
Exactly.
It gives you the corners, edge, corner to corner.
Yeah.
It unites.
When you get to the corner of each one of those paints, you just cut off with it.
This, yes.
Let's watch you use it on that next one.
Okay.
And of course, one of the key things is that you keep a ball of the glazing compound with you at all times in your hot little hand, so that you keep kneading it and it's in good condition to work. Next, we'll make a visit to a very special location, so stick around. Well, construction is continuing back at our little house in Studio City, but I've wandered about a mile away, and I'm going to play hooky for the rest of the show, because if you're in Hollywood, you really got to go to the movies, or at least to the other TV shows. Right now, let's meet Michael Craftsman, who's president of the CBS Studio Center, just a mile away from our house, but you wouldn't know it from the background, right, Michael?
Nice to meet you, Bob.
Good to see you.
Yes,
It's great to
yes.
have you on the show. Where are we right now?
You're on the New York street here at Studio Center.
And the New York street, is it something that's been here for a long, long time?
It's been here since 1994, and it's Jerry Seinfeld Street for the Seinfeld show.
You're kidding. This
Yes.
is the street where
This
they
is
kind of
it.
slip and slide up the street all the time?
All the time.
Oh, I love it. And this was all built just for the Seinfeld set?
Yes, it was.
Boy, what does it cost to do something like this?
It costs about $2 million to build a street like this.
Now, these are real trees, aren't they? At least the branches are real. The leaves are phony. And I guess I could take this one home with
Yeah,
me
you
if
could
I
take
wanted
it with
to,
you.
right?
If it'll fit on the plane.
Amazing. Oh, but you've even got a cycle shop. That's one of my favorite sports.
Yeah, it's right here.
Terrific. So, are we in production right now, or is it used all year long, or how much use do you make of it?
Well, we use it from around September through the end of April. This week is Seinfeld's last show.
Boy, and they've been shooting the show here for what, 8 years now?
Yes, bro.
Spectacular. Too bad we can't knock on a door and find some of those great zany folks. Now, it must be wonderful to have, you know, all this 365 days of sunshine out here in California, that you can just do all these programs without any kind of interruptions, huh?
Yep. Sometimes it's a problem, though. So some of the shows require that we have a snowstorm or a rain sequence. But we've taken care of that. Bob, if you want rain, just ask for rain.
Just ask for rain like that?
Just like that.
Now, Michael, some of these buildings on the lot here look like early California residential buildings, the ones behind us, for example.
Yeah, a little rancho style from back that time.
And those were the office buildings, and then these were the actual sound studios that we see here?
These are two of the original sound stages of 1928.
Now, who was working here in 1928 in Studio City?
It was all silent films. They were like the Keystone Cops, W.C. Fields, Charlie Chaplin, Bing Crosby.
And they were doing early westerns, right? And so they just ran out into the desert far from here?
Yeah, right after Max Zenith became Republic Pictures, we did all the westerns here with John Wayne. And then in the 60s, we did Rawhide and Gunsmoke and Big Valley and some of those.
So how many of these huge buildings are in existence right now?
Right now, we have 19 sound stages.
Wow. And all of them have the same original design with the bowstring trusses, right?
Basic design is always the same. If it's not broken, don't fix it.
Sure, so that you don't have any interruptions. But is it true that the early ones didn't have walls? They just had canvas or something?
Yeah. Basically, there were no hard walls in the early stages. They were canvas. Since they didn't worry about sound, they didn't need hard walls.
Wow. Max Zenith Bungalow. Now, he's the famous producer that started the whole Keystone Cops, right?
Yeah, in 1928, this was a lettuce field, and the studio was born right out of a lettuce field.
And they employed just about everybody in the area, and this is really where Studio City as a town got its origins.
Yeah, the original picture, Studio City, is right on the property limits.
Well, what else should we look at?
Let's go take a look at one of the stages.
Okay. Wow, this is vast. You know, when you're outside, you don't get a sense of the scale of this until you wander in it. What's the actual size of the building?
This is about a 100 by 200 foot stage.
And this is 1920s technology up there, these bow trusses that were...
They're called bowstring trusses.
Yeah.
It's bridge technology, how they used to do bridges.
And of course, the idea here was that you needed this vast open space uninterrupted by any columns or supports.
Yeah, as much clear span as possible is what the shows need.
Now, did you say earlier that Rawhide, the show, was done inside here?
This is the Rawhide stage.
Yeah.
And now we're doing a movie for Eddie Murphy called Dr. Dolittle.
So why are they building this additional stage up on top of the existing floor?
Okay, Dr. Dolittle is about animals, and Jim Henson's going to do a lot of the animatronics, and so the puppeteers are going to work underneath the stage, and they have to have room to work underneath the stage.
So they're basically building this. This is what, about 7,000 square feet?
About 7,500 square feet.
7,500 square foot platform. How long have they been working on it?
All for about 3 days.
I mean, this is guys that know how to build, who are out here
Well,
building.
they've got plans on these, and their designer, and there is an actual architect. They call him an art director. He designs the stage, and they build to his design.
Okay.
And we can either build here on the stage, or we can build in the mill.
Yeah.
And when you're in the mill, it's a fully complete wood shop like you're used to. And they've got all the modern power tools and all the paint department and everything's in the mill.
Now
Or
this-
they can build right here on stage.
This will be used for how long?
This will probably, they shoot for 4 or 5 days, and it'll take them about maybe 2 months to finish.
And then that's done, and you take it apart, and that's history, right?
And the next show comes in.
Yeah. Let's go look at the suburbs.
You bet.
And so you've got how many of these sound stages?
We have 19 sound stages at Studio Center right now.
All of them that size. And so you got the single guy and this one over here?
And Boston Commons and Third Rock from the Sun, Dave's World,
Yeah.
just to name a few.
What about little buildings like the brick antique building? on the
That building behind us was used in an episode of Seinfeld. That was the Soup Nazi's kitchen.
The famous soup Nazi, okay.
And here on my left is 30-something's house, and now it's Grace Under Fire's house.
So originally that's been here for a while.
Oh,
That
it's been here for quite a
30-something
few
was
years.
10 years ago,
Right.
right. Bungalow number 10 is DreamWorks TV.
Yeah. This is
So-
our residential streets. And some of the bungalows here, some of the houses here are sets, and some of them are actually offices.
So they're not going to waste. When they're not being used for a TV show production, you've actually got office space in some of them.
On a studio lot, we try to utilize all the space as best we can.
Now, do you buy them prefabbed, or do you build them on site, or what?
Some we build on site, some we have trucked in, and we just assemble them here.
Great. I think our viewers would love to see a live set.
Well, let's go to Grace Under Fire.
Good. There's a lot more coming up, so stick around. We'll be right back. So this is it.
Yep, this is the home of Grace Under Fire.
So if we're lucky, there's still some rehearsing or some action going on in there, huh?
Right, this is their home. This is where they shoot from September till April.
Now, the logistics are that once they finish shooting, they empty out, right?
They empty out,
Yeah.
strike the stage, and we start all over again.
Okay, so this is really crowded. Again, this is a huge building, but we've really got it stuffed full of heat. This is where you'd have the live audience, right?
Yeah, about 250 guests. This is the camera aisle.
So in a typical situation, they rehearse here all week, and then when they have the actual show taping, you have a live audience up here, and it's not canned laughter, it's real.
It's real, and it really adds to the performance of the actors and actresses.
Sure. And then these are all the sets that we're used to seeing. And is there actually an exterior over here? I
Yes,
see trees
it
and
matches
stuff.
the exterior that we saw earlier if we just walk around this way.
Oh, wait a minute. You mean this matches one of the actual real houses that we were
passed earlier.
Oh, yeah, you know, I think I remember the colors, the kind of blue-gray trim and the ivory field.
And if you come over here, you can see how we decorate the exterior with greens. That's our nursery, is greens, the plants.
So actually, many of the plants are real plants in containers
Yeah.
that have to live short lives in here, no doubt. But then the backdrops
Are all painted.
Are all painted. And if you
look
keep on
up,
looking,
you
yeah,
can see the studio portion.
you can see the structure of the building as well. But the lighting grid is what's essential, because the key to all of this is the lighting, right?
Everything's in the lighting.
Yeah. Well, do we have to knock, or can we go in?
No, I think we can go with
It's you know, if you've watched these shows and you walk into the set like as if you're walking into a real house, it's amazing, because you really do feel like you're walking into somebody's living room.
as they make it as realistic as possible.
They do an amazing job, and it's just, how shall I put it? I mean, this character is a struggling mom, and this looks like the house that belongs to a struggling mom.
Yeah. It's
And-
a lived-in look.
Yeah, it's the war, you know, the rug is worn, and if we're the audience out on the other side of the line here, there's even the TV set that, you know, everybody's watching TV, and how come it's busted? Oh, I see. You got some special effects here.
Yeah, from this side, you'd want the flicker of the TV in your face, but you don't want the actual screen, so they've done some special television magic for you.
So that's the genius of the lighting department.
That's it.
And the genius of the prop meisters and of the set decorators. Look at the whole paneled wall here, which looks straight out of a 19-teens or 20s house, even with the crazed paint. The room hasn't been redecorated in maybe 20 or 30 years, right?
And like you work hard to make it look, to improve that look, and what they make it hard to make it look just like that weather.
A little shabby, a little weathered. So this is the stair hall, and it's...
And you notice the stairs, where do they go?
That's right, they don't go anywhere.
It's just another illusion.
And just another place to hang the lights. but still, the whole area is jam-packed with things that would be real family things, kids' toys and you know, speaker systems and Tonka toys and everything else, right where you'd expect to find them. And then this is Grace's den.
Yep.
And the sewing machine and
Like you said, the set decoration really just make it come alive.
yeah. Where do they get all this stuff? I guess.
They keep it over the years, they rent it, and they buy it if they're going to keep it for a long periods of time.
Yeah, and they must go to the flea markets constantly. Oh, look at that. The car's out there.
Let's go out in the backyard.
So this is the backyard. Amazing. Is that a rusted out Pinto or
It looks like a Celica.
a Celica? 76. And this, of course, is the ongoing project. Is it her or the neighbors?
I think the neighbor
That's
is.
Casey?
Yeah, is working on the car.
All right.
And you notice the backdrop again, and you're on the outside of the house now.
Sure.
So it's supposed to be outside.
And this is where the lighting guys really make a difference, where they hang artificial tree limbs and things up in the air so that you get that dappled light into the rooms at all times. And so this would be the back door
Going
back
back
into the
into the
kitchen,
kitchen.
right? This is familiar too, huh?
This is the kitchen.
Again, but here what we have to really appreciate is the set designer's art and the propster's art and all the different behind the scenes people that make this happen, because it's not easy to put together something that looks like it really could exist somewhere, and yet nothing matches the plaid carpet, which is really worn, and the green covering the plumbing. And now, does the plumbing work?
Yeah, it can become practical. They'll put a tanker to collect the water.
So that's the term, practical.
Practical,
when
meaning
something is made to work.
It can work.
Right now, it's of course not connected.
Not connected.
And look at these.
They make it look as real as
They
possible.
sure do. They sure
Here's
do.
a stove right here.
Now, does the stove work also?
Yeah, it could be practical too.
Whoa.
You have a special effects guy that would be in charge of that.
Is this
Hey.
organized mockery of rednecks everywhere?
No, it looks like somebody needs to come in here and do a little repair job. That's why I came by.
You know, people in trailers don't get cable.
I didn't know.
Hey, how are you?
How are you,
I
Britt?
made it all myself.
You did.
They just give me flashbacks to poverty.
Hey,
Thank
it's
you.
really a
Hey.
pleasure to meet you.
Oh, come on. After that weekend at the Radisson, oh man, that is so, Bob, you know, man, got you though, didn't I? Yeah. Hey,
You sure
how are
did, man.
I'm just kidding.
Thanks a
We
lot.
had the head of Martha Stewart in there. Oh, don't take pictures of me. I've just been pouting all day. Hey, how are you?
Well, you know, I really feel bad about having busted this thing, though. Ah, boy. Oh, we got the man.
Well, hello, gentlemen. How are you
Hey,
today?
Wade,
Casey.
better known as Casey Sander, the actor who... Hey, listen, I just had a little accident here, and she told me she was roasting, I'm not sure, Martha
Oh,
Stewart's
Martha.
head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back again. I see Brett's been cooking.
Yeah, she's been cooking. Right.
So-
This is a heck of a place to maintain for you, isn't it?
Yes, it is. We use a lot of used appliances here. In fact, this is a pretty special appliance over here. You ought to check this one out. This baby used to be turquoise, and then she painted it white and bled through a little, and
Oh, the handle works.
handle does work. That's a great.
Oh, it's time to defrost, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is.
Why don't you feel that ice?
Oh, it's foam rubber.
Another illusion.
You guys.
Yep, Hollywood, buddy.
It's sure. There's a lot of plastic here.
A lot
as
of
they say,
plastic
right?
here.
Okay.
A lot of plastic.
Thanks a lot. Thanks
You
for the
bet.
tour.
Bob, my pleasure.
It was fabulous. We'll be back in a moment with a preview of our next show. Well, as I told you earlier, this is really some of the hardest work that you have to do to get an old house looking good again. The hand scraping, the sanding, the grinding, the priming before you can even put a coat of paint on it. They're doing a nice job. I hope you enjoyed our tour of the CBS facility. That really is a very special place to get to go to. And we're, of course, out of time. Come home again next week. We're going to be doing some exciting stuff inside the house. I'm expecting delivery on our cabinets for the kitchen, which, of course, are being made out of fur to look like the original cabinets that were here. Also, we'll be working in the bathroom, putting down an unusual ceramic tile. And in the back of the house, we'll be putting the decking down on that new porch construction. Till then, I'm Bob Vila. It's good to have you home again. Check out these great new resources for more information on your project. Or for more information on today's show, visit my website at bobvila.com.